Pastor Trainers Conference is Lasting Fruit, Living Fire. Itong kauna nating Pastor Trainers Conference, most of the time for the past few years, ang ginagawa natin is hindi PLTI, meron tayong consultation, or simply tinatawag natin seminars. But this time, this is a Pastor Trainers Conference. That means pastors who are training other pastors, we get them together, yun ang conference. If you remember, those of you who have heard about it, merong plan to have a Pastor Trainers Congress na sineset up, pinaplan ni Dr. Rames, na isa sa mga founders or pillars ng TOPIC. And sa 2016 pa ito, ang initial plan was to have it here, but because of the Yolanda experience natin last year, na nag-decide na hindi na gawin dito, gagawin na sa Thailand. So itong kauna-unahang Pastor Trainers Congress. In other words, wala pang ginagawang ganon. Karamihan ng mga congresses na narinig na ninyo na global in nature would be either for evangelists or mga leaders in general. But for pastor trainers, una lang ito. So in a sense, ang pastor trainers, in a sense, sa Christian community is yung tinatawag na it's a new breed of pastors. They are not just pastors, they are trainers of fellow pastors. So sa topic, itong kauna-unahan natin. And kayo ang first batch. Kaya nga sinabi ko kagabi, if there are other core pastors na nagtanong ba at hindi sila kasama, well, for financial constraints or reasons, we cannot have everyone. Kaya unti-untiin natin. But hopefully, yung mga matutunan nyo rito, ibababa nyo sa kanila. Because they're part of your team. There are two key passages na gusto kong tingnan kung saan natin kinuha itong theme na ito. John 15:16, a very familiar passage, I'm sure to many of you. John 15:16. It says, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit. Fruit that will last. Then the Father will give you whatever you ask in my name." The other one is 2 Timothy 1:6. 2 Timothy 1:6, part of Paul's exhortation to Timothy. It says, "For this reason, I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God which is in you through the laying on of my hands." I'm sure pag yung word na yun, yung phrase na yun, fan into flame, naalala nyo yun kung nag-ano kayo, nag-iihaw, pinapaypayan nyo yun para lumabas yung apoy. Di ba? Ginagano natin yun. These are two imperatives to keep pastoral training a movement and not end as a monument. Merong nagsabi, ang general observation is that when God works, He usually starts with one man. This one man does the work of God and in the process gets to recruit others and it becomes a movement. Pag movement na yun, gumagalaw yun sa iba't ibang lugar, nangyayari yun. But then, it becomes later on a machine. Kasi yung ginagawa, ino-organize, sinisystematize, nilalagay sa manual. Kaya pag sinunod mo yung manual, lahat sinusunod yun. Then it becomes a machine. Pag naging machine na yun, it comes to a dead-end street, nagiging monument na yun. And I'm sure you've heard of a lot of movements na ngayon hindi nyo na naririnig. Naging monument na lang eh. Ayan? Now, we don't want that to happen. Right now, pastoral training is a movement and we want to keep it going and we want to keep the fire burning. We don't want to be a monument yet. And I hope it doesn't come to that point. Okay, let's turn to John 15:16. What do we mean when we say lasting fruit? Fruit that lasts. the sense in verse 16 is this: you did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you to to go. That means to keep on going. And bear fruit, that means to keep on bearing fruit. Fruit that will last. Fruit that will keep remaining or abiding. That's the idea. It's not fruit that is short-lived, but will keep on. Or as we say, we want to say fruit that will mature and multiply. That will keep us a movement. Yung core 10,000 natin, of course, we have the figure 10,000, but it's more than just quantity. It's not how many, but what kind. Yung quality yung inahabol natin. Merong illustration, some of you may have heard about this. Kung meron akong hawak ng mangga na hinog, sa manggang ito, ilan ang seed nun? Isa lang, di ba? Pero sa seed na yon, ilan ang mangga? Yun ang marami. Diba? Yun ang marami. And we want to see na every core pastor natin sa topic is like that seed that will multiply. Bawat isa sa atin, like that seed, will multiply. So, we don't want just to see pastors, but pastor trainers. Not just pastor trainers, but reproducing pastor trainers. And mami, I explain ko yan. It's good, to train other pastors, but we don't stop there. We want these pastor trainers to reproduce. Kaya nga ang tawag natin, community of reproducing equippers. And later on, when we talk about our vision, when we review our vision, I'll expound on that. Okay, 2 Timothy 1:6. For this reason, I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God which is in you through the laying on of my hands. What's that? Well, one word for that is passion. And passion is basically, to use the words in Jeremiah, is fire in your bones. You're familiar with that verse? Jeremiah 20, verse 9. Buksan natin yan. That's a very good description. We know that the message of that God gave Jeremiah, at least to his hearers, was not good news. Kaya sabi niya rito sa verse 8, whenever I speak, whenever I cry out, proclaiming violence and destruction, so the word of the Lord has brought me insult and reproach all day long. No, because he did not talk about blessings and prosperity, ang message niya is violence and destruction. Hindi maganda ang message niya. Kinikriticize siya. So sabi niya, but if I say I will not mention him or speak anymore in his name, his word in my heart is like a fire shut up in my bones. Very descriptive yon. Fire in your bones. And sabi niya rito, I'm weary of holding it in, indeed I cannot. Now, alam niyo yan. Sometimes, pag merong kumukulo sa dibdib niyo, ang hirap pigilin nun. Talagang kailan ilabas mo. Kasi kung hindi, sasabog ka kailan ilabas mo yun. Well, that's what passion is like. It's there. It's burning in you. Because vision without passion is an illusion. Nananaginip ka lang. And so if we are to pursue our vision, passion should be there. Fire should be there. If we are to see every church with an equipped and maturing pastoral leadership, we need to keep ourselves, ang translation sa the message ng Romans 12:11 is, fueled and aflame. Tingnan niyo sa Romans 12. It's another good verse. Romans 12, verse 11. It says, but never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. So the message and translation is, Keep yourselves fueled and aflame. Gatungan mo. Kailangan umapo yan. In Isaiah 60:22, this is a passage that I'm praying and claiming for core 10K or core 10,000. I've shared this before, but I'd like to review it before you. Isaiah 60:22. It says, "The least of you will become 1,000, the smallest a mighty nation. I am the Lord, in its time I will do this swiftly."